Welcome to the Spotlight Series. I'm your host, Scott Nerney. It's live, Tuesday night from the Queeset Inn. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video, especially if you're in the Providence area and you care about education for our future students and present students, because we have Toni Akin from the Providence School Board. Welcome to the Spotlight Series.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate you inviting me.
We're going to talk a little bit about Providence School Board, some of the challenges, your personal background, and why you're running for election again, which I think is an interesting story. So let's start with your personal background.
My personal background, Scott, I am a native of Boston. I fell in love with the city of Providence 25 years ago when I met my partner who lives here. I have been in the public administration field for over 17 years in that time frame, and working in finance and administration within education management specifically. So, it is a passion of mine. I'm the prodigy of the public school systems, in the Boston public school system, specifically during the desegregation era. So that era was very difficult to grow up in. And I lost my parents as a teenager. So it was very, tumultuous time for me. And I realized that that piece of paper for the high school diploma was very, very important, and I consider it a lifetime achievement. So, just crossing that finish line was very tough for me. I fell behind in my studies after I lost my parents, and I had fake friends that didn't have my best interest. So, it was easy for them to get into nefarious activities and cast blame on me. I was indigent, I was homeless, parentless, and gay, so it was the perfect combination for able to do that. And it took me a while to really focus on my education, get some support from my coach at the time, and that really helped me. He checked in on me if I was eating lunch, if I was going to study hall. Again, it just was a reason for graduating high school. From there, I went to college, but I had to drop out because I had to support myself, Scott. So I really had to work my way up in working fields, armed with my diploma. And I was able to get some experience working with the Department of Transportation as a federal subcontractor. So from there, I was able to take some night classes, and I completed my degree at night, distance learning. It was very difficult, and I really, it made me want to help other students with their educational journey to keep them on track. I realized how important, that was to stay in school, keep good acquaintances, keep your grades up, and also work up your way up. So, when I landed here in Providence 25 years ago with my partner, I started getting more involved in Rhode Island. I worked for the East Providence School Department. I worked for the Roosevelt International Academy, which was the first boarding school here in Providence, international boarding school. And I also worked with the junior sailing program in Connecticut Island. So, I feel like I've worked a lot with different types of students.
Sure.
And I know how students work. They're all struggling. They're all aspiring, to become successful in their academic careers. And I feel that I'd be a really good candidate to get reelected for what I've brought to the table on the school board. I've worked with the local control commission, trying to help bring back the schools to Providence from the state takeover, and that's been very challenging as well.
So let's talk about the election process. So
Yes.
A lot of the voters that are watching this voted for you just a short couple of years ago.
Yes.
And some will have the opportunity in November to vote for you again. And others will be their first time to vote for you opportunity because of redistricting. So the area you covered is a little bit different now. That's why you're having another election.
Well, That's partly correct. The hybrid school model is coming into play this election year. So I was elected by the League of Women Voters, and the mayor appointed me to the school board, and that was back in 2022. My term is getting a little bit cut short because of the new model, and it is redistricting, you're correct. So it's now expanding into 3 wards to make 1 district, and there will be 5 districts across Providence that will be elected, and there will be 5 that will also be appointed, again with the League of Women Voters, and then the mayor's appointments to follow. So that's, my primary reason is to continue the work that I've been doing on the school board. I'm also a member of the Rhode Island Association of School Committees, and also a newly elected member of the American Indian and Native Alaskan Council. So it's exciting that my work is getting more involved, not just within the regional, but a national level. But my focus really is on Providence, because we have amazing students there that, really make me motivated to carry on, and they resemble me with my path, because some of them are struggling with their attendance, some of them are struggling with their grades, and I get that, because that was me. So I think that my story can be of motivation for them to carry on and continue on, because, Scott, it really is, a lifetime achievement, and it's opening doors to all types of, career paths, and also all types of possibilities.
So if you could say, what are the 3 biggest needs of the Providence school community?
Well, that's actually something that I've worked on, a proposal with the governor. The 3 biggest needs, I would say, is, first and foremost, is academics, getting the reading levels improved, getting the math levels up on grade level. Also expanding curriculums. I was very pleased that we just approved the curriculum for ethnic backgrounds and studies. So that's a great way to learn about our history and ourselves, but also, looking at new curriculum too. Another curriculum I proposed was for climate resiliency and also suicide prevention. It was something that when I was on the policy, I submitted for review. They're still under review, but in terms of the suicide prevention, we did pass a resolution for suicide prevention, which I'm very pleased about, because, our students are struggling sometimes that, they need support, with their health and wellness and with their overall well-being. I lost a family member through suicide, a nephew, just after he graduated high school. He was struggling with his identity. So, I get that. I get that support is needed, so I'm very pleased about that as well.
Is there also support for parents needed too? I see a lot of times where the students are struggling, and the parents may or may not be in the home all the time, or be able to keep up with the students, helping them work, or just working 2 or 3 jobs. You try to make ends meet and not be able to donate the time. So are there programs that you're looking forward to after election or currently to help parents understand what their kids' needs are?
That's actually a really big focus point, Scott, is now we're rolling out plans with the local control to get the community engagement in, and looking at parents for that support that they need as well, because that's a big factor, especially in Providence, where we're a minority city. We have parents that are working 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet. So that's of concern of how we can be of support to them as well. We do hold monthly meetings, semi-monthly meetings, with the Mental Health and Wellness, Policy Committee. That's a great source of support to parents in the community. But also, as we roll out with the community engagement, that's a big focus that we'll be having, and something that we will be working more closely with, because it's amazing how you see the parents struggling. I have parents calling me for support from other school districts, even outside of Providence, because they're telling me their students are being bullied, or their student isn't going to school, they can't get them motivated to go to class. So I feel that it's something that initiative that needs a bigger focus, and we're actually heading in that direction.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about the Safe School Act.
Yes. The Safe School Act, I'm a supporter of that act. It is a great act that was installed in 2017. It helps allow for the LGBTQ students and non-binary and transgender students to ensure that they're all treated fairly and safely with a sense of belonging when they come to school. And that there has been some movements with some, I'm going to say, detractors about wanting to change the Rhode Island Department of Education guidelines on that. And I'm just trying to understand the reasoning why. The law states many of the protections that are in place. We've had no incidents, statewide that I know of with it. So I'm just trying to get more information, because part of it is, how can we learn from each other? How can we improve this guideline? How can we make this act stronger? I do think that there is no negative law for transgender students in that guideline. So we need to look at that and make that stronger. I, being a member of the LGBTQ community, and I knew at a young age, I mean, my date to the prom was my girlfriend. It wasn't an issue 40 years ago, so I don't know why it's an issue now, Scott. But, we can't learn from each other unless we all are willing to sit at the table and have discussions about these concerns. But I think that it's important that students have a safe place when they go to school, and have that protection, knowing that they can come to school and feel welcomed, and knowing that they're kept safe.
Okay. So as we talk about the Providence School Committee overall, and the work you're doing and the schools themselves,
Yes.
apart from the state takeover piece,
Yes.
the schools themselves and what we're doing with the kids, are we on the right track?
Scott, I do think we are. One of the things I'm really very proud of is being on the commission myself. I worked on 2 separate working groups, and we worked for almost an academic year on the commission. And now we're actually seeing some of that planning now in action. So we're rolling out a survey for community input. We expect some community engagement with members of the community, parents, some different Parks and Recreation staff, some different agencies that work with children. So everybody comes together and makes this transition smoother. One of the concerns that I have is funding. We do have to make sure that we have a balanced budget in order to do that transition smoothly, because I think everything else is feasible. And it's just a matter of just making sure, the categorical funding is in line, which I was very pleased about the governor's increase of $11 million into Providence recently. So that really does help. But we still have a shortfall that we have to look into, either, some spending cuts, or some revenue increases, and thinking outside the box, maybe fundraising. So I've been looking at different ways to make proposals, just about that.
One of the things that I see in a lot of cities is when and not specifically Providence, but when a community has school committee meetings or city council meetings addressing the school budgets, they get 2 or 3 people to show up. unless you're cutting arts, sports, music, something that all of a sudden now parents are enraged and they show up. That lack of commitment or involvement is frightening. I applaud what you're trying to do to involve the parents, and it's not just reaction to what might be on TV for a news brief that a school is shutting or 2 teachers are getting laid off, or you're trying to involve the community, and I really think that's paramount compared to what a lot of other communities are really only getting involved with parents when there's a crisis.
I agree, and that's been, something that we are focusing on earnestly. And, I see that change happening in a positive direction, Scott. So I think, this election season will be interesting because we have a lot of great candidates out there that are, looking at just that, of ways of doing just that, and members of the community that are trusted, myself included. So I think, it's going to take more than just, as you mentioned, a highlight. It's going to take hard work, boots on the ground, continuously. One thing that I've made my own efforts was, reaching out to the students directly and the parents directly, trying to be there when they get off the bus at the end of their school day, just, see how their school day went. Checking in with them about, how their overall day is. What are they thinking about for college, potentially, or after graduation? So trying to make that direct, contact with them because, I feel like they need it many of the times. And, as I say, parents will reach out to me and say, Toni, could you help me with, my child is trying to get into a certain sports program, or he's trying to get into an arts program. And seeing those get cut back is very concerning because for me, that was a great outlet.
Sure.
Having lost my parents, that was a great outlet to stay on track with my academics. So those are the 3 areas that, going back to your first question, are very important: academics, sports and recreation, and arts and music. I think it is evolving. But it is areas that we need to just be creative about and, try to raise awareness of it, that how important it is now, how they're connected.
I think talking to you, I'm going to put an apostrophe S on a word and totally change the world, and feel free to use it on your campaign. You don't work on the Providence School Board. You work on Providence's school board. It's the whole city's school system.
Correct.
It's not just a city school system. It's ownership of everybody that's in the city, whether they're having kids there, they already had kids, they're going to have kids there, they have no connection to any of the schools until they just live there or work there. It's really Providence's schools. And to me, that's really what makes a difference when everybody gets behind it. And I appreciate that everything you're doing to bring that focus. It's a lot further than some people who may just go to a school committee meeting and they're done. You're going way above and beyond to make sure that what you're hearing on the board and what you're trying to do is really having a meaningful impact, and I applaud all that effort.
I appreciate that, Scott. That's very meaningful to hear that from you. And I agree. Providence is, the capital city. We are a college town. We need better and stronger general public schools. We've seen a lot of school closures and a lot of expansion with charter schools. Now, charter schools, they have a specific, study. Typically, the Times 2 academies for math, and other schools have different agendas and curriculums that are more focused. But their funding needs to be overhauled because they're draining the general funding from the public schools. And they are supposed to be public schools, so they should be working more collaboratively with Providence's schools. So that's a great analogy, and I might even use that on my campaign.
Feel free, I didn't trademark it. So tell people where they can get more information about you or contact you about ideas or make sure they're registered to vote and,
Yes.
and be able to vote for you?
Absolutely. Well, ToniAkin.com is my new website. I'll be rolling that out this week. And you can also contact me. I have my information will all be on there as well. But you can also contact me directly at area code 401-332-4930. That is my personal phone number. I'm available pretty much any time, of the day, mostly on weekends as well. So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. You can also find me on Facebook under Toni D. Akin. And I look forward to hearing from everybody.
Thank you very much, and good luck in your
Pleasure.
election.
Thank you.